What is actually blocking you has nothing to do with luck, timing, or the world being unfair to you specifically. Nothing at all. It is your mind, unguarded, unmanaged, feeding daily on content designed to keep you distracted. The television selling you a life that was never yours. The phone rewiring your brain to need stimulation every 4 minutes without stop. The exhaustion that is not from working too hard, but from the specific weight of knowing what you should be doing and choosing comfort instead. Be brutally honest right now, not with me, with yourself. Because self-deception is the most expensive habit any woman can maintain daily. Whatever owns your attention owns your destiny. And right now, something other than your own ambition is sitting in the driver's seat of your life. Look at where your energy actually goes, not where you wish it went, where it disappears every single day before you even notice it leaving. Because time is not gold. Gold can be recovered. Time closes behind you permanently and never once looks back to offer you another chance. And you are giving it away without hesitation.
To scrolling.
To series, to people and content that return absolutely nothing of real value. Hours watching other women build lives while yours holds completely still. And then you call it rest. That is not rest. That is slow decay. Every minute spent unfocused is gone. Permanently. It does not accumulate somewhere waiting for you to reclaim it when you feel more ready. So ask the question you keep postponing. What needs to be cut right now? What habits are the invisible chains keeping you exactly where you are? Write the list, not tomorrow, right now. Then remove every item on it without negotiation, without grace periods, without a single exception made. Because the first real move toward the life you keep describing is not adding more effort. It is eliminating what is consuming the effort you have. And here is the uncomfortable truth that will make some women close this video. It is not missing opportunity stopping you. It is missing focus. You get distracted by things that were engineered specifically to distract you. By comparison with strangers living curated and filtered versions. You hemorrhage emotional energy on situations that return nothing and people who take everything. Then you wonder why you feel permanently empty. Of course you are tired. But understand precisely what is draining you. You are not exhausted from advancing. You are exhausted from standing still. Because living without direction costs more than working hard ever does. Confusion and stagnation are the most energy-intensive states that exist. And the single skill that rewrites everything, the one almost nobody develops with intention, is learning to say no without guilt or explanation. No to what pulls your attention sideways. No to what keeps you comfortable in a place that stops serving your growth long before you admitted it. No to relationships that drain without building. No to habits that feel harmless individually but collectively consume the life you say you want. Because every yes you give to what is mediocre is a direct and deliberate no delivered to your own potential. Every single time without exception. You have to become your own first priority.
Right.
Not because you are selfish. Because a woman running on empty cannot build anything that lasts. You cannot pour genuine strength into anyone while yours is depleted. You cannot construct anything solid while your own foundation is fracturing. Your mind, your energy, your emotional stability are not rewards you earn after handling everything else. They are the base. Protect them first always. When that base is neglected consistently, everything you attempt to build collapses eventually. Not maybe.
Certainly.
Without a single exception ever. Now, the part that will sting, and I am not going to soften it, you want massive results while protecting yourself from the discomfort that produces them. You want a completely different life while keeping the identical habits that manufactured the life you are currently desperate to escape from right now. That has never worked for anyone. Wanting transformation while guarding comfort produces nothing except a more sophisticated version of the same frustration. If you do not sacrifice for what you want, you will sacrifice what you want. That is not a motivational phrase. That is the actual mechanics of reality. Comfort feels like safety, but comfort held past its purpose is not protection. It is a destruction so gradual you mistake it for stability daily. You do not grow in comfort. You do not expand there. You do not become dangerous there. And without growth, your life does not change. Period. Real progress is constructed specifically in discomfort. When everything resists you and you continue anyway, that is where the real woman is built. When you are exhausted and move, when you are afraid and act, when every voice says stop and you decide that stopping is no longer an available option. That friction is not punishment. That is the exact construction site of the woman you have been talking about becoming for far too long already. Because if you only ever choose what is easy, life will systematically ensure that everything ahead of you becomes progressively harder than necessary. But choose the difficult thing today with full commitment and tomorrow begins carrying less weight. That is not inspiration. That is how growth operates. Nobody is coming. Nobody will do this in your place. You are the only person alive who is fully responsible for where your life goes from here. A focused woman is the most unstoppable force in any room. So cut the noise, lock in,